Well, I was feeling better.
Hey, poor! Hey, poor! Hey, poor! You don't have to be poor anymore! Jesus is here!
The loudspeaker spoke up and said, Christianity is stupid.
Okay. You no doubt can tell I sound like shit. Not only because I'm sick, but because I'm not using my usual recording setup. That's because I am curled up in the bed using my phone to record this. And why am I cutting an episode on my phone when I'm not feeling well and not just saying, hey, sorry folks, I'll put out an episode when I'm feeling better? Well, for starters, if I go too long without putting an episode, I lose listeners. And given that I don't have that many to begin with, I can't really afford to lose any. So, I've got to cut this episode as best I can. And that means me laying in bed, using my phone. And then, I'm not really going to edit this because I don't have a lot of stamina. So you're going to get a lot of errors and other shit. I apologize, but I think you can understand. Also, I need to thank a couple of people. Unfortunately, only one of whom I can remember their name, and that's Shujin Tribble, because last weekend he had me on his show, Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. He had a last-minute cancellation of his hosts, and needed somebody to fill in, and was kind enough to let me do that, so we had a good talk. The other people I need to thank, and I apologize for not knowing your names, because I do not have the energy to go look it up, but several of you have upped your Patreon contributions, and I really appreciate that. That helps, because this is a thin month for me. What was it? Wednesday was my last day at work until January 2nd. Now, I did have some good news at work. I am supposed to. We'll see if it works out, because you never know. But I'm supposed to, on January 5th, be a full-time employee, which means I'll be making a hell of a lot more money. I'll have benefits and everything else. That's what they've said. It will be my start date. We'll see what happens. You never know with these things. Let me pause this. So anyways, folks, you're going to get about 30 minutes of me rambling incoherently, or semi-coherently, and then I'll post this. I apologize. I sat down last night to work on this script, and I had this really, really good idea. I was going to lay out a lot of the issues with the economy and what it does to people in our society and things like that. But I started feeling a little ill, and so I didn't get very far into it. I laid down, and I've essentially spent the time since in bed. I did manage to get a friend to take me to the store to get a few things, because I didn't really have any food in the house that I can just quickly eat. Not that I'm terribly hungry, but the food I had would have required me to spend time prepping it, and I don't have any stamina for that right now. I'm kind of mad. For some odd reason, all the Chinese places close by are closed today. I don't know what the hell it is. Usually a Chinese place is closed on Sunday. And when I'm sick like this, the thing I love more than anything is a bowl of hot and sour soup. At the grocery store today, I bought some prepackaged stuff that was neither hot nor sour. So it was disappointing. I'm almost certain I'm not going to have the energy to be able to walk to one tomorrow. I'll just be too tired. Because this takes it out of me. But anyways, and again, I apologize for my rambling incoherence, but I think you can understand. But it is vitally important for me to get this episode out today. Not only because, I need the money, but, I'm sure I've lost a handful of listeners because they didn't put anything out for the past 2 weeks. But I have a chance of gaining some during this time, since a lot of podcasts put out just, best of stuff. So this is somewhat original content and may be enough to get somebody to say, hey, who's casting around for something to listen to drown out their relatives, or because Christmas doesn't mean anything to them, so they got to work. So, it's crazy that I am having to lay here in the dark and record this conversation with people I don't even know because I need the $100 or so I get a month from Patreon. Because, jobs in this area just don't pay enough. And that's not how it should be in this country, but that's how it is, and unfortunately it's probably only going to get worse. What with the tax plan that they've rammed through Congress. I mean, we know the tax plan is going to crash the economy. It's just a matter of when and how badly. And thankfully, with this job, me going full-time there, I'll actually be able to prepare for it. Instead of like the last time in '08 when it happened, I wasn't able to prepare for it because I just didn't have any money. Because I wasn't making near what I will be making at this job now. My rough estimate at this time is that 6 months from now, I'll have enough money set aside that I can get a beater vehicle, which will be enough to haul me around to various places in town when I need to go there, as well as get shit. Because landlord, when I talked to him the other day, was not real happy about the shape my deck was in. And I told him, I says, well, I have, all that lumber in the yard, and that was going to be the deck, and then I got laid off, and, well, I just didn't have the money to get the last few remaining things, because I didn't know how long it would take me to find another job. So, and now it's a little too cold to do anything about it. But anyways, as you can hear, I'm panting. This, talking like this wears me out and I get lightheaded at times, so I'm having to pause every couple of sentences and just wheeze and gasp and catch my breath and stop being lightheaded. Fuzznuts has insisted on curling up on top of me around my hips, and I don't know why, but that is incredibly painful for me. when he does that. And it's hard for me to get him to understand that he really needs to be somewhere else. If I move him, he just comes back or curls up in my face. I know he means well, but damn, I wish I could talk to him and have him understand me. Oh, God, yes. Yes, you're a good boy. Yes, you're a good boy. Okay, and I want to say I'm not sure what the next episode is going to be, because Skullbeard and I are supposed to record later on this week, but I don't know if I'll be up to it, and I don't remember where we left off on the Apocrypha, and I don't know if I'm going to have the stamina to go through and find out where we did leave off, so unless he remembers, we may have to just punt. I mean, I've still got recordings of he and I that I haven't edited and posted yet, but, I'm sick. I can't do it. Apologize, to you and him and everybody else, but, oh, shit. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to concentrate because Fuzznuts is on my lap or on my chest, walking around, demanding attention. And, it's kind of hard to breathe when you got a fat cat on your chest. Yes, you're a good boy. And if you're wondering if I'm planning on going to the doctor, the answer is no. In theory, I have health insurance. I signed up with the temp agency, but I haven't seen any, like a card or anything like that. So I'd have to pay hugely out of pocket, or I'd have to go to the clinic for the uninsured in town, and there's not a hell of a lot they could do for me. I mean, because whatever this is, about all you can do for it is palliative care, because it's viral. And not bacterial, sorry. Buttons is attacking my feet, and, well, I have to be careful, because she's, pretty vicious, and I don't want to get her claws hung up in my toes. It's no fun. So, my big concern this week is I have to pay the electric bill. Got the money. It's just a pain in the ass to do it online, and of course, since I don't have a car, it's a pain in the ass to drive to the, to get to the power company to pay the bill there. So, that's what I'm concerned about. And hopefully I'll be feeling better by the time I have to go back to work. I won't know, of course, until I get there. Now, in addition to being on Shujin's podcast last week, I went to the local Sumner County Democratic Christmas party, which was a bit of a letdown compared to the previous years, which wasn't all that great. The couple that normally hosted it has moved out of state, so they got the chair of the county. They got the clubhouse at his apartment complex to hold the party. And we had a significantly smaller turnout this year than we had last year. Last year there was 100 and some odd people. This year there was just over 40. And there were a number of people whom I know who did not show up for one reason or another. I don't know. The other frustrating thing for me was this time we had a PA system set up. And they would play music and they would kind of talk over it occasionally. But the talk was just basically about raffling off door prizes. It wasn't, this is what we're planning on doing in the new year. How we're going to get these people that have decided to run elected, what you can do to help, things like that, blah, blah, blah. So that was frustrating for me. And I've mentioned in the past that the executive committee can't be, for the county, they hold office till 2019. They can't be voted out until then. And we really need to push this year because we've got to put the brakes on the shit that Trump's trying to do. If you'll remember, not too long ago, a bunch of people were saying, oh, well, the only reason the Republicans are putting up with Trump is because they want to get their tax plan through. And then once they get it through, they're going to cut him loose. You'll notice that they've gotten their tax plan through, and now they all seem to be going after the FBI. Which, granted, the FBI doesn't have a stellar track record, but these attacks are clearly designed to discredit the FBI in the eyes of the general public so that when Mueller finds something, people, oh, well, it's all just made up, it's biased, blah, blah, blah. We have this issue in our society where when it comes to certain topics, we think there can't be objective truth, like politics and religion. And everybody has this attitude that, there's not really much difference between these ideologies. It's just there on the margins. And those ideologies can be religion or politics or what have you. But the truth is, and we can demonstrate this, that there is objective truth. And we can show the failures of ideologies, but people don't want to listen. Because they don't want to put either the effort into it, they don't want to go through the self-examination, or, they don't want to take responsibility. Let's face it. If, somebody tells you I've got a problem, and your response to them is, oh, well, my thoughts and prayers are with you. You've absolved yourself from having to do anything to help that person resolve the issue. Or even worry about whether or not there's anything you can do. So, the cats are chasing each other around the house. And that is far easier than saying, okay, well, let's look at what happens here or there and which outcome is the best one. We know that places like Norway, Sweden, like that, that are socialist and have all kinds of regulations. The population lives longer, is healthier, and they all have more money. There's less income inequality. But, people don't want to sit there and look at all that shit and say, that's how society should be. They I don't want to pay more taxes. Well, you're not going to get things to have a decent society unless you pay taxes. And the whole, well, we got to do this and we got to do that, the free market will take care of it. It's not true at all. Because if the free market would take care of it, there would be no need for government regulation. And one of the things I've discovered, because I've read part of Adam Smith's The Wealth of Nations, is he doesn't use objective language in talking about things. He uses very emotionally weighted words. So, even if he's accurately describing 18th century economics, you have a hard time getting people to recognize that, that was over 200 years ago. Things have changed considerably since then. So what he's talking about may not be accurate because he's used such emotional language that he's tied, that people, it skips their frontal lobe and goes straight to their gut, and that's what they prefer. There's that scene in 1984 where the guy's telling Winston Smith, language should come from here, pointing to his throat, not from here, his head. And that's the idea. They condition people to give an automatic response, not to think about such things. Okay. I'm exhausted. So, I'm going to have to start wrapping this thing up so I can get a little sleep before I put it out. I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank everybody who supports the show. I apologize for the shortness of this episode. Assuming I'm feeling better on Friday, I will get something out then. I don't know what the hell's going to happen with me and Skullbeard. It all just depends on how I feel. Right now, if I'm, half as bad on the day we plan to record as I feel now, it's still not going to do it. But like I said, we got plenty in the can. I just don't have the stamina to edit any of it and put it out right now. I keep thinking there's something I need to add, but I'll be damned if I can remember it. And I'm just too tired to go on, so apologies again for it being so short, from having missed so much. I'll have something out later on this week, I promise. Alright.
That's it for this episode of The Atheist in the Trailer Park Podcast. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, as well as just about anywhere else podcasts can be found. Many of the episodes are also on YouTube. Follow the show on Twitter. @TParkAtheist is the show's Twitter handle. It's on Facebook at facebook.com/trailerparkatheist.com. If you happen to like the podcast, please rate it on iTunes. If you'd like to support the podcast, there's a donate button on the show notes page. You can support it via Patreon at patreon.com/TNTucker. Thanks for listening.
Say goodnight, Fuzz-Nuts.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
Damned cat.